Start of the cast of the What's Up Guys, and today we have a 39-5 TDM on Hard Hat, and like I said in my previous video, the gameplay is going to be sped up a little bit. Not only does it make it more fast-paced for you guys, but allows me to just kind of talk until I'm done talking and then fit the gameplay to it, not have to ramble on at the end and stuff like that. So anyway, as you can probably tell by the title of the video, what I wanted to talk about today is actually episode 1 of my underrated movie series, which a lot of you guys are looking forward to. Actually, much to my surprise, I put out that video, announced it, and got a lot of positive feedback. So I figured I would start off already going against what I said, and, well, not really against what I said, but against the name of the series, and I figured I would talk about a show for the first episode, because, you know, if you follow the rules of stuff, life's boring. So I'm going to talk about a show for the first episode of Underrated Movies, and that show is Jericho, and it was a show that came on, I think it was back in 2006, and I think it was on, like, ABC, NBC, CBS, one of those channels, you know, just regular cable. And I think it was a pretty popular show when it came out, but they pulled it after only, I think, a season and a half. And I never really could find the real reason. I Googled it a little bit, didn't really research it, but I Googled it a little bit, and the main thing I could find is because it actually played into people's fears too much. People actually were getting too afraid of the show, and they had to pull it off the air due to some concerns people were having. So the show is basically based around a terrorist attack on the U.S., which I know has happened before, but the reason that this show is so different is because of the scale of it. And it's something that, you know, in theory could happen, but no one really thinks about, and that is, I think they set off 23 nuclear bombs in the United States, and it's people within the United States that do it, and it basically focuses around the town of Jericho, Kansas, hence the name Jericho, and it's basically all about these people's survival, and it's much like the show Lost, just without time travel and you know, the whole entire city moving. So it's a little bit less weird. It's a little bit easier to follow, but it's still a very, very solid show. It has a very good backstory to it. And for a show that's set mainly in one place, it really does a good job of keeping you interested in the characters and in the setting, which, you know, is something like a show I think Lost had a little bit of struggle doing. I'm going to compare these two shows a lot because after watching like 10 episodes of this, I was immediately thinking that this is similar to Lost with the deep dramatic storyline and all these different relationships going on and stuff like that. It's a lot like Lost. But what Lost failed to do, in my opinion, was really captivate the interest in the characters. It had it as a group, but you never really fell in love with the you know, you fell in love with the main characters, with like the main six, but you never really fell in love with the supporting characters, and that's something Jericho does really well. Is you really find yourself, you know, becoming connected to these outside characters that don't really fit into the story as a main role, but they're there in the end. You know, they're all there, and I haven't watched the entire show yet. I think there's 27 episodes on Netflix. I think there's like 20 in the first season, and then 7 in the second, or something like that. I just finished the first season today and watched the first episode of the second season, so I am almost through it, and I literally have only been watching the show for about a week, so I've watched probably about 20 hours of the show in 7 days, so it's a pretty captivating show. It's really hard to get away from once you settle in, because, you know, I'll wake up in the morning, and I've actually fixed my sleep schedule a little bit, so I don't have a lot of time to watch stuff anymore, but I got to ruin it again for this series, but I'll wake up at like 6, and I'll find myself watching that show until 2, and then, you know, going and, you know, doing schoolwork and YouTube stuff, so it really holds your attention really well. It's well worth the watch if you have the time. Like I said, it is on Netflix, and I'm sure it's on other movie sharing sites. By the way, the one I recommend if you're going to use an outside technical legality terms movie site is icefilms.info. You can easily look up a video on how to use it. It's like a one plugin download. It's what I use for all of my my quote-unquote legal movie watching, because I'm not exactly sure where it falls in, because you're not downloading the movie, you're actually just watching it. So I don't know where that falls in realms of piracy and stuff like that, but I hope I'm not against, you know, some kind of policy by saying this on the internet. I don't think I am, because there's so many Vegas tutorials everywhere. But yeah, so icefilms.info is a good one for it. And there's just there's a lot of places you can go. So I'll leave a link to that site down below in case you guys want to go check it out. I'm obviously not getting paid in any form by them. It'd be sweet if I was. I'm not gonna lie. I wish people would pay me. But I got to get like another 200,000 subs for that starts happening. So anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. Like I said, Jericho, it's well worth the watch. It's a really, really good structured show. And it really does. It keeps your interest pretty much every episode. There's really not an episode I can think of that I found myself just wanting to get through. There's times, you know, when it's some of the more dramatic stuff and some of the more, you know, off-key stuff, but it does a really good balance of just using scripting. It's not a lot of special effects. It's not a lot of action scenes. So there is its fair share of action. It's mainly just story-based, which is what I love in a TV show. It's one of the reasons I love Dexter. I loved Lost, even though Lost is a little weird towards the end. The first 2 seasons of Lost, I should say I loved, and Dexter is probably my all-time favorite show. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed it, share it with your friends. It helps out the channel a ton. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. And I also wanted to throw in at the end of the video, because I forgot to say it in the actual commentary, is if you guys ever have any suggestions of any movies that you want me to cover, any shows you want me to cover, just leave it in the comments. You can send me a private message. Just if you have any movies or shows that you liked yourself, leave them in the comments. Other people might want to check them out. If you do live in the U.S. or Canada or somewhere Netflix is, please do mention if it is on Netflix, because if it is, I will probably most definitely watch it, because I'm a no-life and I have a lot of time to watch movies. So anyway, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments or send me a private message. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Talk to you guys later.